Alright, so in this video we'll be dealing with the ordering page. So this is the message to which user gives input. So as you can see, we expect the user to respond anything from 1 to 9, or it can also be 0. And if at all it is any other non-numeric string, then we'll respond with please enter a valid response. And if it is 0, then we'll have to set the status back to main, and we'll have to send this message. So first, let's do these two things. One is to handle this validation error, and the second one is to set the status to main. And also we'll have to send this message. And since this is not the first time that they're contacting Red Velvet, they're already in the ordering mode. So we need not actually send this specific thing, that is, hi, thanks for contacting the Red Velvet. We can just start from the second line. So let's do these two things. Go back to PyCharm. So first of all, we'll have to check if the user is in ordering mode. And how do we do that? We can simply just copy this and change this from main to ordering. And if it is ordering, first of all, we'll have to handle the non-numeric strings. And how do we do that? We have already done this. So we can just copy this specific thing and then paste this. This basically tries to convert our input to a number, and if it is unable to convert to a number, then the user might have entered something which is not a number. In that case, it will respond with a validation error. So this is basically done. Now we'll have to handle the 0 part, that is going back and setting status to main. So first we'll have to set the status to main, and also we'll have to send this message. So we'll have to do these two things. So if option equals 0, in that case, first of all, we'll have to set the status back to main. And the way of doing this is just to copy this. So this sets the status to ordering. Now we'll just have to set it to main. So just change this particular thing to main. And we have set the status to main. And now we'll have to respond with this specific message. So let's do that. So this is that message. So let us copy this and paste it here. And we need not require this first statement since this is not the first time that they're contacting. So we'll just get rid of this. And now the option 0 is done. All right, so now let us test this. Okay, so we have only coded for non-numeric and 0. So first we will try for non-numeric. So let's say hi. Okay. Please enter a valid response, which is correct. And now let us test for 0. So we've got this message. So things are going in the right direction. Now let us see for what happens from 1 to 9. So if it is 1 to 9, first of all, we'll have to set the status to address, because if we want them to enter the address, then we'll have to create a separate page, change the status. Okay. Now, and another thing is that we'll have to map each cake to a number, because, for example, if they type in 1, then we'll have to know that it's red velvet, right? So we'll have to maintain a list which maps each number to a cake, and that list is known as array, and in Python it is actually called list. So let us create a list of cakes. So first of all, we'll only have to do this if the option is between 1 and 9. So elif 1 less than or equal to option less than or equal to 9. So in that case, we'll have to define a list. So let's call it cakes equals. The first one will be the red velvet cake. So red velvet cake. And then the next ones you can just copy and paste. So the second one will be dark forest. And the third one will be something else. So I'll just copy and paste and make this a list and then come back. So I am done with the list. So first of all, let's get what they have selected. To do that, just type in selected equals cakes of option -1. So the reason that we're doing this is because in programming languages, the counting starts from 0. So for us, the red velvet cake is the first one, but in programming languages or in this language, in Python, the counting starts from 0. So if the user enters 1, then in the list there is actually the 0th element. So that is why we just subtract 1. So now we know what the user has selected. Now we'll have to store this thing in our database. And along with that, we'll also have to change the status to address as well as send these two messages. And once you do this, the ordering page is done, right? So let's do these two things. So now let us update the status to address. So let us copy this and now just change the status to address. Now, along with this, we'll also have to set the item, right? The item that they're ordering. So let us set the item to the selected one. So whatever they have selected, we'll have to set it as the item, right? So, and finally, we'll have to send two messages. And what are those two messages? The first one is excellent choice. And the second one is please enter your address to confirm the order. So let's do that. So res.message excellent choice, and along with that we'll just send an emoji. So to do that, in Windows it is Windows plus dot, in Linux also it is Windows plus dot, and if at all you're using Mac it is super plus dot. So Windows plus dot, we get this pop-up and click on this emoji. And the second one is res.message please enter your address to confirm the order. So once we do this, the ordering page is done. All right. And finally, we also have to handle the other case. That is if the response is numeric, but it is not anything from 1 to 9. So if it is something like 10 or something, we just have to send a validation response for that. So just else condition, the same thing. Please enter a valid response. Now with this, our ordering page is done. And also make sure that your terminal is running, right? So here everything is running as expected. So let me just switch to WhatsApp. So this is my WhatsApp. Okay, so now let us enter something which is not from 1 to 9. So something like 23, say. So we get a validation error, which is as expected. Now let's enter something from 1 to 9. So let's say I enter 1. So excellent choice. Please enter your address to confirm the order. So with this, our ordering page is complete. Now let's just check in the database if the status has been changed to address, and also let's just check if the item is set to the red velvet cake. So let's just open up Chrome. All right, so this is our database. So let me just refresh so that we can see our changes. So as you can see, the status has been changed to address, as well as the item has been set to the red velvet cake. So with this, our ordering page is complete. And in the next videos, we'll be configuring our address page. And finally, we will see how to make this program accept multiple orders once a specific order has been completed. All right, so I'll see you there. Bye.